pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamrita varshinim bhagavatim ashtadashadhyayinim ambatvam anusandadhami bhagavad gite bhavadveshinim नमोस्तु ते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दाय तपत्र नेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैल पूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महते वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंस चाणूरमर्दनम देवकी परमानंदम कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम भीष्मद्रोण तटा जयद्रथ जला गांधार नीलोत्पल शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनीं सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तक केशवः पाराशर्य वचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानक केसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधना बोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पतैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानंद माधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. Om. We'll now go into chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atma Sanyogo Nama Shashtodhyayah. We have completed up to 44. The subject so far in chapter 6 is Atma Sanyama Yoga, self-integration. It's not self-control. It is something like being together as a person, being together, integrated as a person. I am not split in terms of conflicts. My doubts, my psychological pressures and pulls to make me respond differently, to lead me into a life of becoming, that is brought together. Those conflicts are resolved, and I learn the art of being together as a person, integrated as a person. And the means for that is given as Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana as differentiated from Dhyanam. Dhyanam is Manasa Vyapara. It can be a mantra, it can be silence, it can be on Bhagavad Leela. All that is okay for Dhyanam. Nididhyasanam is something else. Nididhyasanam is, it is not an experience. It is not for gaining an exotic experience. It is not for knocking off your thoughts. Okay? It is not gaining some kind of supernatural powers. It's not for levitating. It is a pure mental process of reinforcing Atma Dhyana. The first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are called Pratama Shatkam. The first Shatkam means 6. So Pratama Shatkam. The Pratama Shatkam, what is presented is the fundamental human problem is present. The solution for the human problem and the preparatory sadhana for making the solution, work for you. These are the three main areas, and the doubts, I won't call it doubts, the clarifications that the student requires are all given in the first 6 chapters. In our coming sessions, in the next 2 sessions, I will take you through a summary of the 1 to 3 and then 4, 5, and 6, essentially because we are completing the 6 chapters today. It is the Prathama Shatka is completed. And before we go to the Madhyama Shatka, I will do a summary of 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 in 2 sessions. So that in case you have missed up to talk number 106, this is talk number 106, I reckon. If you have missed up to talk number 106 and you believe you do not have the time to go through all those 106 talks of 1 hour, that's about investing 106 hours, a lot of time. So if you feel you do not have the time to invest so much of time into your study, you need to listen to just 2 talks, 107, 108. You will get a whole vision of the first 6. That's what we are trying to do in this platform. So the fundamental problem is self-ignorance. The solution to the fundamental problem is self-knowledge. We'll see it in details in the coming sessions. Okay. Self-knowledge, the solution for self-ignorance is self-knowledge. Knowledge happens in the mind, in the buddhi. We use the term antakarana. It happens here. And this must be receptive. This must have the patrata. It must have free space to store this data. So a lot of muck needs to be discarded. So you have various sadhana going on that. We come to the 6th chapter, and in the 6th chapter, the teacher says, this is how you reinforce your learning. Sorry. The process of reinforcing is a manasa vyapara called nididhyasanam. Vedantic meditation, we can use another expression. And how is the process done? That is what was explained. And then Arjuna had a doubt. Okay, before Arjuna had the doubt, let me briefly tell you the process. We have 3 types of nididhyasanam. One is Shravana Rupa. That is, you have heard. Nididhyasanam is done after substantial time invested in Shravana and Manana. Shravana is listening to the Gita or to the scriptures for a length of time, systematically, regularly, as though you are going through a course, an undergraduate course for learning something about a subject takes 3 years. This is a course where you learn about yourself. So just imagine the time that one has, the commitment that one should have. So Shravana Manana is learning systematically, regularly, consistently from a proper source under a competent acharya. Shravana Rupa Nididhyasanam. You can reinforce what you learned by reinforcing what you heard. Then you have what is called yoga, yogic roop of nididhyasana, where the posture is very important. You have to sit properly. And that was highlighted very beautifully in one section. And then comes where you have abhyasa rupa nididhyasana, where you reinforce the content of your understanding. And how is the reinforcement done? When it comes to Abhyasa Rupa, the posture is not important. The time is not important. The work is important. What you do is more important. So what you do is you reinforce this knowledge by dwelling on the knowledge regularly for a length of time and regularly at every point of time. A brief, uh, what do you call, it is not an aside note, it's an example given from the regular, like which our teachers explain. That is, I am a conscious being. Careful, okay? I am a conscious being, not even a human being. I am a conscious, awareful being. This conscious, awareful being functions through this body-mind sense complex. When the conscious being functions through the body-mind sense complex, it's called a jiva. And the jiva has a certain individual notion, and that is called ahankara, not arrogance. Okay. Now, this jiva functions in a world, in the world. What is the world made up of? Objects, positions, possession, profession, relationships, family, labels, awards, achievements. This is what the world is made up of. This jiva enters into this world and wants to be successful in this competitive world. The demands are numerous, supply is limited, economics, simple economics. What you want to achieve is innumerable. The time available for achievement is short. If you have the time, you do not have other resources. If you have other resources, you don't have the time. You don't have the right situation. This struggle to become better than what I am is called samsara. The teacher, the Shastra, unfolds something hitherto not told you. He said, why don't you have a different paradigm? Why don't you learn to have a step back and look at yourself? I step back and look at myself. I go into my conscious being and look at the individual playing a lot of roles. It's like on a stage play, I'm playing a lot of roles. Once in a while, or often, I have to retire to the green room, own my green room personality, which is different from my stage personality, perhaps change the costume, make up a little bit, and go back and play the stage role. In the stage, the role that I play may be that of a person who goes through a lot of pain. My favorite example is Bhagat Singh. And the last thing is put into the gallows. Is there any trace of regret on the bad part of the actor that he's going to be put into the gallows? No, because he knows he is not being hanged. It's the role that's going through the problem. I, the role player, am free from the problem. It requires a certain subtlety. And for this subtlety, various sadhana has been prescribed. Okay, so I play many roles in the world outside. This thought is very regular. It will come throughout the Bhagavad Gita. All roles have scripts. All roles will have scripts. Even if you are playing the role of a fellow who is waving the fan for the king, you have to have a script. You will wave at this speed and you will stand still, whatever be the situation. If there's a mosquito on your system, you won't even swat it. You will keep fanning the king. There's a script. So there is a script. Some parts of the script come defaulted. That is called destiny. and some part of the script you write. Free will. Destiny plus free will unfolds the destiny for tomorrow. That is the further default in the script, which will work further. Simple example, you are filling up a form. Name, done. Age, done. What's your gender? Done. If you fill in female, some cells will be defaulted, some will be closed. Married, unmarried, status. Some cells will be defaulted, some will be closed. In the same way, based on what you write today, some cells will be defaulted, you will have to fill up more. Based on that, further script will be defaulted, more pages you have to write. There's a unique script where something is written, you write. Based on what you write, the next part is written for you. Again, you write. You play roles. The roles have scripts. Scripts have ups and downs. Decisions are to be taken. Decisions are to be taken. The result, the outcomes can be pleasant, unpleasant. There is no running away. Arjun says, I can't kill my grandfather, Bhishma. I can't kill my Guru, Drona. Krishna says, I would prefer to go away and become a bhikshu, a monk. In India, there's a lifestyle, very often, even many of us, especially married guys. I want to leave everything, run away and become a sannyasi. Teacher says it will follow you there also. We say in jest. Imagine a guy runs away from him and settles down in Rishikesh. And that somebody goes to Rishikesh and says, isn't that fellow Kupu Swami who ran away from our next door neighbor's house? He's the husband of so-and-so. He ran away. Somebody will spot you. So that's what Krishna says, there's no running. You have to fight your battle. The entire Bhagavad Gita is unfolded in the battlefield. You have to fight your battles. Winning the war is not in your hands, but you have to fight the battle. You have to fight. Even if the Lord rides your chariot, you have to fire the arrow. The Lord Ishvara Krishna here can navigate, but you have to fight your battles. Therefore, at every point of time, you will get the word Tasmat Yuddhasva. Hey, come on, stand up and fight, man. There's no running away. That's what the teaching comes. And when you fight, understand there is a certain sadhana in which you can see the role facing the problem and the role player standing apart, a certain objectivity. This objectivity gives you valuable space inside, inner leisure, invaluable, precious space in which you can address the issues. You can address the issues. You can see the reality behind certain things happening around you. So the knowledge was unfolded, and how to prepare yourself for the knowledge was unfolded so far. And at this point of time, Arjuna has a certain doubt. He says, hey Krishna, I don't doubt your words. You're a wise guy. This person comes from a parampara. This parampara is called Vedic heritage. Okay? You come from a certain parampara. In that parampara, we have been told that there is something called Shraddha. Shraddha is, I take the words of the Shastra and the teacher as authentic, trustworthy, and valid. I don't invalidate them. I don't read up literature to see this doesn't work. I validate them. I only have questions, clarifications. How do I relate to the subject? How do I relate? So at one point, Krishna says, Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuhu mate sangosva karmani. And somebody translates it as, you have the right to do the duty, do not expect results. I don't invalidate the statement. I inquire into how can I relate to the statement. And when I inquire into how I relate to the statement and go to the proper source, the source tells me reword it. It is not do your duty and do not expect any results. Adhikara has a contextual meaning. Adhikara also means control. You have control over actions, not over result. Suddenly the whole thing becomes meaningful for me. Hey, look, I'm pummeled. I am pummeled in this world. I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems. My guru's favorite example. I go from mall to mall and I get mauled. I have a lot of problems. How do I handle it? The Shastra comes and tells, Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, Sukheshu vigatas praha. In sorrow, don't get sucked into it. In happiness, don't get overwhelmed, don't get overboard with joy. Simple cricket match response from India. India loses, everybody and his uncle is criticized, condemned. Given a chance, they'll be pickled, quartered, and hung. And a victory, everybody is glorified. No extremes. Is it manage the extremes of responses? This is the modern psychology Krishna talked 5,000 years ago. Psychology has perhaps come from this. So, Krishna Arjun says, I have no doubt about what you tell me. I'm not doubting the validity of this, but there are certain issues I cannot relate to. For instance, suppose what you have told me, you say, having got this knowledge, I will get absolute emotional immunity, freedom from dukkha. Sorrow will not touch me. And I have to spend sufficient time, effort in learning all this. And I have to live a disciplined lifestyle. Perhaps I have to tune down my ambitions a bit. Perhaps, I'm not only using the word perhaps I have to change it. Perhaps I have to live a slightly more frugal life. This is Arjuna's. All of us have the same questions. This being the scenario, what if it doesn't work? I will neither be here nor be there. Na idhar ke, na udhar ke. Hum to bhai kahin ke nahi rahe. What would happen to me? This is called, in Vedantic terms, it's called yoga prashtaha. I have committed myself to study. And having studied, I fail to reach that goal. There are so many people, people who slog for ages together to do, I want to be a qualified chartered accountant. At the end of the day, after 20 years, he's still not qualified. What do I do? That doubt is still there. What happens? Sorry. The same kind of a little clarification he seeks. Arjuna seeks. And Krishna answers. He says, hey Arjun, your doubt is valid. Please understand, your doubt is valid. This is the doubt a lot of people have. But please understand something. The person who has come to this field of Atma Jnana Vichara, for such a person, na iha na amutra vinashaha asti. There is no vinasha for such person. Meaning, having started inquiry into the very purpose of my life, when the purpose of life properly, this inquiry doesn't go waste. You must have Shraddha. This is something very important. It reveals a fact about me. When the fact about me is revealed, and then it is revealed by the proper source, my effort will never go waste. That's what Krishna reinforces. And in Vedantic terms, in Shastric terms, Krishna says that such a person will be reborn into a family of people of people of proper samskara, people who have value for their study. You will, you will be born in such families, or you will be born in a family of yogis, so that what you let off can, that study can continue. It happens. When I relocate, I was in one place, I was studying this seriously. When I relocated to another place, the first thing I asked was, where are the centers where the study communicate, where the study happens? I found 2 kilometers from where I was staying, there was a center where the study happens. So this continues. Come to today's scenario. Hey, go to any part of the world. 5:30 p.m. Fridays log in. Hey, what if I make 3 sessions? Recording available YouTube. You never miss it. What Krishna reinforced is working today, valid even today. I have missed somebody, when I said to somebody, please, you can log in today. He said, sir, I missed. This is stock number 106. I have missed 105. I can always read it. If you don't have the patience to go to 105, wait for 2 weeks. I'll give you 1 to 3, 4 to 6. I'll give you 6 chapters in a capsule for understanding. In and one of some of these talks capsules are available. Here I am now revising some of the portions from chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 6. So you will never, this is what Krishna assures, so the teacher assures, Bhagavan assures. And for this to work, I must have Shraddha. Shraddha is a certain disposition in the validity, in the authenticity, and trust in the Shastra. Okay, we have to understand that the Vedic system is not a belief system. Vedanta is not a belief system. It is a system of its truth unfolded to you using a particular prakriya. And to receive the truth and to absorb the truth and make it yours, to be able to relate to it, you need a certain preparatory sadhana. And a lifestyle, which is a religious lifestyle, is prescribed so that very beginning of life, one can cultivate the patrata to understand and assimilate and own up this knowledge. That is called the Vaidika Parampara, not Hindu lifestyle. Vaidika Parampara, Sanatana lifestyle, a way of life. This clarity will. When this clarity is there, nothing goes waste. If you miss it here, you can always pick it up elsewhere. So coming up to this point, now we are going into the last 3 verses of chapter 6. So let me read to you verse number 45. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prayatnat Yatamanastu Yogi Samshuddha Kilbishah Whole line. Prayatnat Yatamanastu Yogi Samshuddha Kilbishah Prayatnat Yatamanastu Yogi Samshuddha Kilbishah. This is available in verse number 45, chapter 6. Aneka Janma Samsiddha Tato Yati Param Gatim. Whole line. Aneka Janma Samsiddha Tato Yati Param Gatim. Whole verse. Prayatnat Yatamanastu Yogi Samshuddha Kilbishah Aneka Janma Samsiddha Tato Yati Param Gatim. Once more. Prayatnat Yatamanasta Yogi Samshuddha Kilbishah Aneka Janma Samsiddha Tato Yati Param Gatim. So let's look at the word meanings. Aneka Janma Samsiddha. In our Vedic parampara, in our Shastras, we talk about Punarjanma. Uh, the Punarjanma, quite simply, is an understanding of what I am today is a sum total of my past. Today, what I am today is a sum total of my past. What's my date of birth? Falana Tarik, date. What was I before that? Did I drop from the sky? Did the stork came and drop? I was in a fetal form. And before 273 days, I was in two separate bodies in a seed form. What? So can something come out of nothing? So the Punarjanma is revealed like this. From the unmanifest, I come to manifest. From the manifest, I go back to unmanifest. When the time is over, I am Antim Samskar. I don't disappear, I go into unmanifest condition. By the same logic, this unmanifest remanifests or manifests once again elsewhere. This is the logic. The seed came from, apple comes from the seed. Unmanifest to manifest. Manifest in the seed, it was unmanifest form. It came an apple. Then it goes back into the unmanifest and comes back into manifest. So the teacher uses the logic and says that this present Janma is the sum total of all my past Janmas. How many past Janmas? Innumerable. And he says, Prayatnat. Okay? Prayatnat. Because of sustained prayatna. See, yatna is not just mindless action. Prayatna, prakarshena yatna, yatna toward an action towards a particular goal is called prayatna. So prayatnat, yatamana, consistent, repeated prayatna, effort. One World Cup requires 4 years of practice. After 1970, Brazil won the next World Cup. How many years later? Yeah, nearly 24 years later. 1994, Brazil won the World Cup. It takes ages. How many years? How many hours of practice? There was a football player called Pele in Brazil. He said, for you to become a world-class footballer, you have to be a top-class athlete. And for being an athlete, you have to be a very disciplined person. If at the end of it, you don't become a footballer, no loss. Your country has gained a disciplined citizen. Vedanta doesn't say that. There is a saying said by our Pele. Vedanta says the same thing. Having put in years and years to be able to have the subtlety to come and inquire into the Vedanta. In the next chapter, we will see Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye. Out of thousands of billions of people, a few will make the effort to learn this subject. All subjects for that matter. The more difficult the subject, the fewer will be the persons pursuing it. And out of those few will actually know it. So he said, you have come to this stage because of efforts of so many janmas, aneka janma, samsiddha. This is the outcome of so many years of application. Aneka janma samsiddha. And you are killed. I mean, all your some shuddha, your lot of your doubts have been clarified, even at the basic level. It has been clarified. Okay, we all of here are from a Sanatani household. All of you are from Sanatani household. All I want you to do is to do a small check. If you have a 3-4-year-old child at home, okay, check. Take the child to a temple and say, Bhagavan se prarthana kar. Pray to God. What will the child do? Where did it come from? You can say it observed the parents. Then close your eyes. The child sings on its own. Om Sai Namo Namah. Child sings. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. You can say, yeah, they must have seen it. Yes. But what makes them note this? There are other children. There are other children who are so keenly following other things. Nothing is right or wrong. We are not talking about whether it's right or wrong. We are talking about you have a natural inclination. Today's talk has got 10 people. I must have sent this to about 1,000 people. Normally 4 or 5 people come. Today it's 12 to 10. Sometimes in the whole of the battlefield, there were 18 divisions of army. One fellow recognized Krishna and said, Krishna, teach me something. When Krishna was walking around, this is the condition. Now Krishna is not manifest in this form. We can understand the condition. So he says, inquiry into this subject comes after aneka janma samsiddhi. After aneka janma effort, it comes to this level. Okay. Tataha, so that sadhana. Okay. Param gatim yati. The power of that sadhana puts you on a fast track for study. There are 2 things which drive us. No? You have to, a little care, okay? There are 2 things that drive. I told you, destiny. Some script is defaulted, some you write. What is defaulted is called prarabdha karma. What you write is called purushartha, destiny and free will. Just imagine what is defaulted and what you write are in consonance. Again, what you write, the next part as is defaulted is in consonance with what you have written. Suppose your prarabdha and purushartha lead you towards the same goal. He says, this comes from purva janma punya. And punya is not something that's a drop from the skies. It is got, the punya comes to you with lots of efforts, and the lots of efforts that you put in all your previous janma have fructified. Take it that this is the last janma and you have come to the right place. Hey, Krishna is standing in front of you. Not some joker, some clown. I am Krishna standing in front of you. And you are going to get this knowledge from me directly. So he says, this is the meaning of this. Prayatnat yatamanastu. Such a person is called a yogi. This yogi, samshuddha kilbisha. Much of these conflicts are knocked out. At best, see, there are like, a lot of people, I've told it in this forum so many times. There are one set of people who will say, sir, this will not work for me. Another set will say, it's good, interesting, sir, but I don't have the time to spend on all this. There's a third category who will say, all this is very good, sir. For my life situation is different. It's not. My work life is different. In childhood, I had to spend a lot of problems. I was not allowed to do all this. There'll be one person who will come and say, it will work. I'm satisfied and I will try. Fine. Yattana. Such a person will never go waste. That's what the teacher, such a person is a yogi. He says you will never go waste. Okay? And this lot of conflicts are resolved. Yeah, you have these day-to-day problems. All these things will be there. Not that you're absolutely day-to-day problem will be there. And if you are in Bombay, that Koni Marna, the train will happen. All this will happen. But a certain clarity of purpose, sincerity of purpose will be there. That's what the teacher wants to drive home in verse number 45. Let's look at verse number 46. What are the steps that one has taken and which has brought you here? What has brought you to this question? Let's look at tapasvibhyodiko yogi, tapasvibhyodiko yogi, jnanibhyo jnanibhyopi matodikaha, jnanibhyopi matodikaha. Whole line. Tapasvibhyodiko yogi, jnanibhyopi matodikaha, कर्मिभ्योश्चादिको योगी, कर्मिभ्यश्चादिको योगी, तस्मात् योगी भवार्जुन, तस्मात् योगी भवार्जुन. So he says, whole verse. तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी, ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः, कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी, Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. Verse number 46. What does the teacher say? See, the Vedantic meditation, nididhyasana, is the highest form of jnana yoga, where you knowledge, your knowledge. After the Vedantic meditation, nididhyasana is for the purpose, when you say, yeah, consciousness is everywhere. Yeah, it is said in the books that consciousness is everywhere. No, it is reinforced that I am that consciousness. I am convinced that I am a consciousness. Conviction is there. I just have to make it my daily living lifestyle. Perhaps that's where the gap lies. Okay. So with that thought in mind, he says there are various steps. The first step is called a karma yogi. Who's a karma yogi? Not social service doing fellow. A lot of this, I'll do karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Do blood donation. It's okay. Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of this. It's unintended. A karma yogi is a person who does actions with a certain attitude. What is the attitude? We have learned it in the past. It is called Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. I do it for a certain cause. My personal likes and dislikes are not attached. You can ask, is it possible? It says it's possible, that's why you're talking. You can say, yeah, difficult, but not impossible. It all depends upon what kind of priorities I have. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi when it comes to action. And when it comes to results, Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. The results are taken as results coming from a higher source. My actions are dedicatable. I dedicate all actions to a higher altar. The quality of my actions are dedicatable. The results, I do it as an offering to Ishvara, and what comes, I take it as prasada. Hey, look at the small thing in our daily lives. Why Sanatana Dharma cannot be, it will always be there with you. There is a person going into a temple. He is carrying a basket full of flowers, fruits, coconuts, and so before he goes inside, you ask him, Kya hai? What's inside? He will say, Phal phool hai. He will take the basket and bring back the same basket. You ask him, Kya hai? He will say, Prasad hai. What changes happened inside? Any change? The fruits have been changed. The flowers have been changed. What went inside was flowers and fruits and coconut. What came out is prasada. A change in the attitude is karma. Performing action for a certain cause, taking pleasure in the performance alone, performing well done is my achievement, results, yes, if they are favorable, fine, if they are not favorable, I am not going to call myself a failure. Karma yoga. Okay. What does it do? It frees me from pulls and pressures of strong likes and dislikes. This alone is acceptable to me. From that, all those urges are converted into preferences. It's like going into a mall. Not everybody goes to buy a Rolls Royce. It's a beautiful model. Kya price hai? 100,000 euros. Wow. And somebody drives it drives it out even as you watch. Lucky fellow, man. You don't feel you're not able to drive. You're able to appreciate something beautiful. Yeah, how long does it take for you to appreciate something beautiful? You're leaving for work, your child comes and says, Papa, see my drawing. How long does it take to appreciate? Yeah, space inside. Karma Yoga gives you that space inside. So, Raga Dvesha Nivritti. Pressures of Raga Dvesha, you're free from it. Then, Upasana. Upasana is simple Deva Puja. What it will give you? It will free you from distractions and anxiety in particular. I am worried what will happen tomorrow, what will happen to my child, what will happen in this world. This anxiety bugs you, are free from anxiety. It's called Vikshepana Vritti. Then Shravanam. Shravanam is the fourth step. It removes your, what do you call, confusion, certain kind of, your wrong understanding of certain things are removed. Karmani eva adhikara hai. You had some understanding. I gave you a different interpretation. Oh, yeah, it makes sense. So that avarana means that, something which blocks your vision is removed. Then comes mananam. Manana is reflection, removes your doubts on the subject. Okay, if this is what is said here, what is stated there? So this reflection removes all of that. And Nididhyasanam reinforces the knowledge. That's what he says here. He says the tapasvi, the yogi is called a Nididhyasana yogi here. So he says the various type of people here. Okay, the karmi, there is a word here called karmi. Karmi is a karma yogi. Okay, there is a word here called tapasvi, upasana yogi, person who does upasana. There is a person called jnani here. What is this jnana? There are two types of jnana, two-step jnana. The jnana sadhaka, one fellow keeps listening. I will listen. I can chant 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita like that. I can tell you which comes from there. That person is a Shravana. He's a Shravana Yogya. He's listened. It's Shravana. He knows. He's learned it so well. He can repeat anything. Then there is a Manana Yogi who does a lot of reflection. He'll tell you where which comes from. This is connected to that. So these are sadhanas are useful, definitely useful. They have their place. But what I am talking about is a person who is doing nididhyasanam. This fellow will reach his goal. There is no doubt about it. Therefore, he says, Tasmat Yogi Bhava Arjuna. Do all your work. Fight. Wage your war. Play all your roles effectively. Don't stop inquiry into the nature of the role player. Okay. We come to verse number 47. It says, Yoginam api sarvesham, Yoginam api sarvesham, Madgatena antaratmana, Madgatena antaratmana. Whole line. Yoginam api sarvesham, Madgatena antaratmana, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, Same yuktatamo matah, Same yuktatamo matah. Whole verse. Yoginam api sarvesham, Madgatena antaratmana, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, Same yukto tamo matah. This is the glorifying mantra, glorification of nididhyasana, glorification of the nididhyasana yogi. The teacher says very clearly, and The teacher says very clearly, Yogi Nam Veer. Okay. Among all the yogis, Sampurna Sarvesham, among all the yogis, Shraddhavan Yogi. There are some people who said it might work. See, some people have, but they say, sir, this is my problem. I want to sort it out. What do I do? I tell them, pray. Okay, sir, I will pray. But by the word they say, okay, I will pray. I know it's not convincing enough. Will it work? Should I go to any other temple? Certainly it won't. But let me share with you. There are certain things I prayed for. The clarity came like this. I'm not saying anything glorious about me. I'm only saying Shraddhavan Yogi. When you pray with Shraddha, when there is an element of doubt, assured the doubt will dominate. You will not be able to focus on what will happen. The doubt will dominate. Okay? Shraddhavan Yogi. Mat Gatena. What is the Shraddha? On me. Me here is Krishna is talking as himself. Mat Gatena Antaratmana. He is not distant or different from me. It's been done before, we have to reinforce it again. We do. So he is not different from me. Mam, and he sincerely pursues me. Mam bhajate. Okay. He is yuktatama. He is the best qualified person. He is the qualified yogi. That is my opinion. Krishna says. So, quickly looking at this, if you are a Vedanta student, how committed are you to Vedanta? Is it a pastime? There are a lot of people who call me and say, I want to learn Gita. I ask them, is it for what purpose do you want to learn? Because I teach it in a certain manner. Is it a pastime? Or do you want it for some of these, these social circle meetings where you want to take a verse and talk? I can prepare you for it, not a big deal. But what is the purpose of your life? You want to transform your life. You want to look at yourself differently. You have been living a life of inadequacy and becoming and try to achieve in your labels and things like that. What kind of certificates I need? What kind of certification I need? Hey, no disrespect to anyone. No disrespect. Please don't mistake me. There are a lot of people who go about as life coach. And there's a certified life coach. Who is the certificate? And if you are a true life coach, why do you need an authentication validation to market yourself? No? Shraddha lacking. You don't have conviction in your own. You need a label there. No criticism. Not meant to hurt anyone. This is what Vedanta is about. So he says, are you committed to transforming yourself? Are you able to see yourself as a person who can negate the sorrow in your life? Is it, is it what that you want to do? Or are you still flooding around with it? Is it what you want to do? Are you clear about what you want to achieve in life? If that is the kind of commitment you have towards your life, are you willing to invest time, energy? Are you willing to have the vairagya to cut out certain unproductive areas from your life? I'm not doing, I think this is unproductive. I want to go to this. Both are equally unproductive. Both are equally unproductive. This unproductive area, no, this seems more unproductive. Therefore, I want to go. It doesn't make sense to me at all. If Vedanta is your goal. So this is what the teacher says. Have commitment. And if you have commitment, okay, among all the yogis, if you have that kind of commitment, by this time it will started working for you. So this is what Krishna says, glorifying the person. And the first 6 chapters, he talked about Atma Swarupa, the Jivas. He talked about the Jiva Swarupa. What is the real nature of the individual? This is called a Pratama Shakka. The next 6 chapters, he is going to talk about the Swarup of Ishvara. The Jagat and Ishvara is going to talk about that. What is the Swarup of the world that you're seeing? What is the word? What are you? What is that? And what's the connection? These are the three divisions. Will be available to you. In our next section, I will do a summary of chapters 1 to 3 in our next week's session. And the week following that, I will be doing a session, a summary of chapters number 4, 5, and 6. This is called the Prathama Shakam. It will be available to you now in one section. All my old talks are available as YouTube links, and then we will go into the next section called Madhyama section, Madhyama Shakam, and finally lead to Charama Shakam, the final 6 chapters. I pray to Sri Krishna, Sri Dakshinamurti, to give me the commitment, to give me the clarity to remain in this subject. I have been talking on this for 2.5 years now. There are 106 talks. Multiply by 3, it's going to become 318 or more. I pray to Ishvara Anugraha, Shastra Kripa, my Guru Kripa, plus my own prayatna to make it available to the world. And may this knowledge bless all those who are desirous and are willing to attend this. So we'll do the Shanti Mantra. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalinim Desho Yam Shobharahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. सतगुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हो, स्वामी दयानंद महाराज की जय हो, सब संतों की जय हो, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय हो, बजरंग बली की जय हो. Like these talks are available as YouTube links. You can contact me either over WhatsApp. People who have my links can contact me over WhatsApp. And you can also mail me if you have anything to discuss, because this platform I'm not able to spend much time on discussion. If you have any questions that you would like to discuss, either on a group platform or a one-to-one, my email ID is available, rbi.mohan@gmail.com. rbi.mohan@gmail.com. May Krishna be in your lives. Please join me next Friday, same time. We reinforce this with a morning meditation from Monday through Friday for half an hour to 40 minutes, where we do the sadhana of getting this system ready for knowledge. People who are interested may please convey their interest. I will send you the links for the morning meditation. Oh, thank you.